Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what profession is not appreciated enough? Garbage collectors and cleaners, pillars of civilization. Anyone who doubts it needs to live in a place without them, especially the former. They clean up after everyone, physically and socially. That's a level of responsibility most people couldn't handle for a week. Janitors and street cleaners. They clean our messes and keep the place clean, yet they're taken for granted. Daycare workers. They get paid next to nothing despite how insanely expensive daycare is. We trust them with our kids but not with fair wages. That's wild. So where does the money go? Because daycare isn't cheap, it makes financially more sense for one middle-class parent to stop working because that's how much it costs. And daycare workers aren't getting paid well. So if a lot of money is coming in and it's competitive to get in and still not much is getting paid to them, where is the money? Journalists. Everyone wants to know more but hates the person telling them. Also, nobody covers local news anymore because we hated them all so much. And everyone complains about paywalls. We all want news but don't want to pay for it. We hate paywalls, we hate ads, we don't donate to Wikipedia but we want all the content. Modern journalists are cowards and refuse to ask difficult questions or hold those in power accountable for anything. They are just beholden to their corporate overlords. It's become a profession that isn't really deserving of respect, tbh. One could perhaps argue that it became that way due to a lack of regard for it from society though, so I'll give you that. They are not cowards, there just is no free press anymore. They don't work for the public anymore, they work for our money hoarders. See, proved my point. There used to be tens of thousands of journalists who covered things like your local police department, municipal corruption, shady businesses, etc., and we got rid of them, and now we still somehow have tons of journalists who work really hard on non-local issues, stand up to power, and we pretend they don't exist, don't support their outlets, and prefer to focus on bad television journalists who have always done a bad job. There are some fantastic modern journalists who are extraordinarily brave. It's just more fun to hate on our stereotype than support them. Research scientists in the US. It'd been insane the last couple years to have my own field explained to me by an anti-vaxxer or some shit like I don't nearly have a chemistry PhD. Apparently half of America thinks people like me are either useless, just in it for the money, or the literal spawn of Satan. It's so weird and disheartening. It's a sad reflection of our society. So many revere fame and beauty and respond mainly to controversy. It's perplexing. I suppose it's just ignorance and the defense mechanisms of the mind. It's easy to convince yourself that you're well informed if you lack the aptitude to respect education. Especially since it's a profession that's so often a labor of love and absolutely not for the money. The requisite PhD plus postdocs training can be longer than a decade and the hours often brutal. People that persevere through it genuinely love science. Exactly. I've always said, man, if I were just in it for the money, I'm doing a terrible job, LMAO. Librarians. They're the unsung heroes keeping knowledge alive while we're all busy watching cat videos. Next time a question stumps you, pray you didn't send the last librarian to extinction. Teachers and caregivers. Anything that was considered essential during COVID. Yes. Cleaners. So many people look down on them. Tell their kids, study or you will just be a cleaner, etc. I don't think many cleaners will earn too well, and I don't imagine many had the desire to be a cleaner when they were young and thinking about careers. Yet they are doing the job most of us would hate. They are not dossing or on welfare. They deserve more respect. One of my favorite jobs because everyone was generally very kind where I worked, spare a few drama mamas. I've been a cleaner a few different times in my life. It's always been a horrible job. Mostly because people are fucking disgusting, especially when they know a cleaner will be coming around after them. But it paid slightly higher than retail. This is why I tip my cleaning lady way more. It's a gross job and she does a stellar job. She's also the only service person I use at home that got a large cash bonus for Christmas. I try make her feel appreciated. Teachers, really. Imagine dealing with those kids in this generation. There's a reason schools are increasing the amount of time off for kids. Our school district currently has roughly 2 months worth of time off for the kids during the school year. Truck drivers. Everything you buy depends on them. Farmers. Teachers and doctors. I think doctors are very highly regarded, at least where I live. Yeah, my doctor's multiple Audis to color match his tie suggests he's quite appreciated. All of them, at least in Australia, live in luxury penthouses and drive Range Rovers. They're all generally incredibly snobby. I work at a grocery myself and when they come in they all treat us like we're completely beneath them. They have a sky-high ego and are regarded as the highest-ranking profession of all. Teachers, I wholeheartedly agree, those people are angels. Yeah, I know that in the US, Canada, Australia, and many other developed countries doctors earn a lot. But in my country, doctors make around $500 a month, which is very low, even by our local standards. Great point. And let's not forget about librarians keeping our minds clean and organized, one overdue book at a time. I would say most of the service industry. Clinical laboratory science. No one knows we exist, and if they do, people think we're just phlebotomists or button pushers. Additionally, we get paid very little. However, the data we produce and interpret helps drive like 60% of medical decision-making. Teachers, especially in the US. Teachers were ridiculously underpaid before school shootings became a thing. Now they are literally tasked with being prepared to protect children from mass murderers, alongside caring for them all day long and trying to somehow help them learn something and prepare to live functional lives. Completely bonkers how little they are paid for how vital their role is in our society. Plumbers. Truckers. Elder care workers. The real ones that take care of the elderly. Why aren't you visiting your mom and dad? Fast food workers. High stress, fast pace on your feet all day. Yet the job is considered the lowest of the low. Nurse. Ridiculously underpaid profession. Hard disagree. Nurses are pretty fairly compensated. Not all nurses are created equal and not all nurses are underpaid. I'd add teachers to that list. They're the unsung heroes who turn kids into humans, yet get paid like they're just babysitting. If only they got as much respect as the kids do when they bring home an A. Teachers, and nothing even comes close. I'm not a teacher and never have been, but they get so much hate. I think certified nursing assistant is way worse. I won't say nothing even comes close, because there is always something worse. Cleaning up pee and poop and lifting heavy patients and dressing them all day, some of them very contracted, confused and combative, for around $16 per hour. And we get shit from families too. And nurses, so many rude ones. I agree, teachers are on pedestals compared to CNAs. It's a very difficult job with pay and union benefits far, far inferior to that of educators. You're right, teachers do get a raw deal, but let's not forget about those unsung heroes who keep our cities from looking like the set of a post-apocalyptic movie. How about giving a round of applause to the folks who bravely battle the endless tide of misplaced coffee cups and discarded fast food wrappers? Security guards, drivers. I mean, much of the sector could be closed if these guys didn't contribute enough. All of them at this point. EMTs and paramedics. Farmers. In my opinion, teachers. Grocery store workers. People underestimate how much planning goes into everything, plus how hard it is physically. Plumbers. Without them we would be using chamber pots and outhouses. Accountancy. Mothers. It's the most emotionally draining profession of all. My mother is still incredibly worried about her grown-ass 18-year-old lol. Teacher. CNAs. Teachers. Retirement home workers. It's nice to help people live out their final days in what comfort and peace you can provide, but the death hurts, especially when it's someone you got to know and there's a memorial service and no one shows up. I'm not a caregiver, but I work security, so I have a limited scope of interactions with residents to make them feel safe. But those nurses and caregivers sometimes have to wash down and clean up the bodies of their friends of 1, 2, 10 plus years before the funeral home takes them, and I feel for them. That cannot be easy, and like nurses and doctors, they deserve so much love and support, but receive an occasional pizza party if they're lucky. Teachers. Proctologist. Based. Musician. Teachers. Far more often than most people think, when there is an interview with the person who overcame insurmountable hardship to achieve greatness, when asked how they did it when so many others in the same circumstances failed, the answer is, well, there was this teacher. Public school teachers, expected to be educators, therapists, babysitters, and saints, all while getting paid like it's a hobby. Beekeepers. Customer service workers. People forget they're humans, not emotional punching bags. Escorts. 911 dispatchers. They have garbage pay and hear some of the worst moments of people's lives. First responders. Docs and nurses. Really? Nurses, teachers, police, sanitation workers. Teachers. Also professors. People internalize the phrase, those who can't do teach, as if every teacher is a failed professional. In lots of people's view, teachers just have a bit of fun in the classroom, go home early and have summers off. So must be an easy job. In contrast, it is a lot of assessments, working in underfunded classrooms that lack basic amenities, trying to educate reluctant and easily distracted students. Just see the number of GoFundMe type websites that ask for amenities in the classrooms for their students. Most people can't survive a week in the classroom, let alone their entire career of being derided by parents and administrators. Receptionists. Without them nothing will be gotten done in any organization anywhere across the world, and they aren't acknowledged at all. Garbage men. Education. OTR truckers. People complain about them on the road, but they are an important link in the supply chain. Law enforcement. Truckers. OTR haulers are, by and large, talented, safe, and obscenely necessary to our society. But they're just seen as jokes to most people. Respect the truckers, and don't cut them off. Custodians and garbage collectors. I hear so many people tell their kids to study and work hard so they won't be like them, but without them the world would be filthy and they deal with so much shit, literally lol. I also think they're underpaid and undervalued. Anyone who works in power generation or transmission. Either no one cares, or they complain about us and our industry constantly, until the power goes out at their house.